Hi, I'm George. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew for the Keith Andrew Network, which is a great show. You should listen to it. You should watch it. You should get all your friends to watch it. It's amazingly good. I can't support it enough. And since I play Santa Claus, I'll put you on my nice list, too.
Welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. I am your host, Keith Andrew, and this is episode 508. This is season 6, 508. I am the one and only Keith. I think I am the one and only, the one and only Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. Today we have George McTyre on the show, and I just want to say thank you for joining us.
Sure, I'm glad to be here.
No, the honor's all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show's about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. To never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And to prove to them you can still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels. That being said, a half hour of your time, and starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I have recently moved to the New Haven area for my wife's position at one of the big universities here. And for about 18 years, I was a college voice professor. I taught voice lessons at the college level. And way before that, I was an opera singer, kind of up and down the East Coast and throughout the United States. And way before that, I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, nice.
So, and since moving here in the fall of 2013, I've been a full-time actor. I've done a few commercials, a couple of movies. I did, this last year, I did a local television show where I played a wizard. And oddly enough, I'm a professional Santa Claus. That's been the major life change here since moving to Connecticut.
So let's just jump right into it. Who or what influenced you to become a professional Santa Claus?
Oh, okay. I was cast in a musical, an original musical in Milford, Connecticut, with a group who they produce all their own material, they write their own shows, and this was a Christmas musical. So I went in, I had a full beard, it wasn't very long, and I got cast as Santa Claus. And it was a great show. I loved working with those people. But part of doing that show was that we would do some things for the Chamber of Commerce in this little town on the shoreline here in Connecticut. And so my picture was in the paper as Santa. And one day I get this phone call with a thick Italian-American accent going, "George, we don't know who you are. We are some of the local Santas, and we would like to take you for lunch." I was like, "Oh no!" I stepped on their turf, and the Italian Santas are going to rub me out. But that didn't happen. They became very, very good friends. And one man in particular was like, "You're really good at this, but you need to do these 5 things to be a really good Santa." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And the next year, since I had a suit, I had a white beard, I kind of went full steam in the Santa direction. And this gentleman who was my unofficial mentor in the Santa community was very pleased. He said that he had never seen anyone improve so much and meant quite a lot to me. And ever since then, when the holiday season rolls around, I don the red suit and I'll be really jolly, and I hand out presents, and it's been a great adventure.
So
But as you see right now, I do not have a beard. My other job throughout the years, I'm an actor, so occasionally you have to shave for another role. And right now, I'm getting ready to do a production of Stephen Sondheim's Company, where I play Larry, and they wanted me clean shaven. So here I am without a beard in the middle of the summer. So.
Well, didn't the beard get itchy after a while?
No, it really didn't. I know some people have problems after they grow it out for about 6 weeks that they will get some itchiness. But I, fortunately, was never prone to that. And I also, I spent a lot of money on really good hair products and conditioners, and I think that helped too. I did. This is probably the worst hair story in the world. I have to bleach just a little bit the mustache and beard just right around my mouth because my hair is a little bit dark. And you can see that I have a little bit of dark hair on top. So for about 3 years, I was going to this really nice salon. It's a color salon. That's what they do, is they do color. They're very good. I used the same woman for a couple of years, the same product. They'll write up a recipe card for you. And she, like I said, she'd been doing it for 2 years. Well, this was October of last year. I went in and she put the solution on my head and on my face. And immediately I started to have a reaction against it. And in about 15 minutes, I was lobster red. And the woman in the chair next to me at the salon was a doctor. And she was like, get that off of him right now. So they dragged me over to the sink and they stuck my head in the sink and they washed it all off. And I started to go into convulsions. And my heart rate was really, really high. And the doctor was taking my heart rate, and they called 911, and the paramedics came, and they took me to the hospital, and they gave me some injections of Benadryl and prednisone, and I had an anaphylactic reaction an allergic reaction to this product. 2 days later. Now, my hair looked good, and the beard looked good. It was completely white. 2 days later, I go to my barber, who has cut my hair for about 3 years, and my beard was beautiful. It was long, it was down to the middle of my chest, it was nicely squared off, but it was a little fuzzy. And so I go in, it's 11:30 in the morning, and this barber, he's the only one in the shop, it's his shop. And I go in, I sit down, and I notice he has an open can of beer at his station. I thought, well, that's a little early in the morning for someone to be drinking. I thought, well, maybe he's already had lunch. Maybe he had a beer with lunch. Okay. But he picks up the electric razors, and the first thing he does was and he cuts a 4-inch chunk out of my beard on the right side. I was like, what did you do? It's October. I don't have time. You cannot grow 4 inches in your beard from October to December. So I went home. I had to trim it up. I didn't think it looked very good. So I went to another barber shop in town, not the same guy. And I sat down in the chair, and the guy was like, what happened to you? And I told him the story. And not only did he figure out who this other guy was, he had worked for this man for a week, but only a week. And he's like, yeah, don't go to him anymore. It's like, no, I won't. But I looked fine by Christmas. It was okay. And in fact, I was working so much because I was one of the photo Santas at Radio City Music Hall this last year. I got called in to do that. So I still had an incredibly good Christmas season, and I think I made a lot of people happy. And I did. In fact, I didn't have a day off from the beginning of November until New Year's Eve. So I was incredibly busy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But that's the worst hair story in the world that week.
Now, my next question I was going to ask you is, do you still be Santa? Are you still a Santa? And
Yes, I am. I actually have booked some Christmas jobs already here in July, and it starts about now. People will call me up. People that have hired me before, a couple of companies that I've worked for, they'll start booking me now here in the middle of the summer. And hopefully, I've got a deal with Six Flags Great Adventure up in Massachusetts this year, and I hope I will be one of the Santas up there. It's a great job, and I know the people that work up there, so keep your fingers crossed for me. Also, I hope to return to the Essex Steam Train in Essex, Connecticut, which is an historical steam engine train that does a Christmas show. Last year, I believe that we did, I'm trying to think of the number of patrons. It was an amazing amount of people that come on the train and see all the decorations and the elves, and there's performers who sing, and Mr. and Mrs. Claus show up, and we hand out bells and cookies and cocoa, so I hope to go back to that. We'll see if I get my beard out long enough by then. So.
now my next question is, who influenced you to start your acting career, and how many years have you been acting?
Okay. As a child, when I was about 6 years old, I had voice lessons. I was a boy soprano, and I sang all through school, elementary school, high school. In college, I was a voice major, and I have a bachelor's of music from Southern Methodist University in Dallas in vocal performance. And I have a master's degree in music in vocal performance from Baylor University in Texas. And before my wife and I moved here to New Haven, I was working on a PhD in vocal literature at the University of Iowa. And I did not finish it. I finished all my coursework. I have some exams to take and a paper to write. And right now, I don't think I'm going to do it. I like being an actor. When we moved to New Haven for my wife's position, it was in the middle of the fall. When you're a teacher, that's not a good time to move because the semester has already started, people are already working, and there just was no work for me at that time. So I was driving around here in New Haven, and I saw a sign for the Actors Gym, which is in Hamden, Connecticut, and I thought, I'll take some acting classes. I mean, I had been an opera singer, I'd done musical theater, I'd done a couple of plays, but I'd studied voice. And I'd had a lot of stage time as an opera singer, but I'd never actually taken a deep look at the study of acting. So I went into this studio, and it turned out it was a great place. I've taken every class that they offer, some several times, and the man who owns the studio and teaches it is a very good teacher. And I started to submit my headshot and resume to places, and lo and behold, I've been getting work. It kind of amazes me. And so I've been working a lot here in Connecticut, and I've done a little bit in New York and Massachusetts. And let's see, currently, I'm the assistant director for a small stage company in Madison, Connecticut called Madison Lyric Stage. And we do a play, a musical, and an opera every summer. And this year we added a young artist show. So we started our season with Agnes of God. And then we did Godspell with our young artists, high school, college age, right out of college age. We'll do Stephen Sondheim's Company in July, and then our opera is The Turn of the Screw by Benjamin Britten, and that will be the first weekend in October. So it's a funny little company because we tend to do one of everything out in the season, and we got our nonprofit status this last year, and we added equity actors this year, a few equity actors, and we're rolling along. It's going to be a great summer, I think, of lots and lots of performing.
No, absolutely. It's funny. Every time I think about Christmas, I'm thinking, did you ever see Almost Famous?
Yes, yes, uh-huh.
I guess you know what I'm going to say. Every time I think about Christmas, I think of the line in Almost Famous, like, Mom, you make us celebrate Christmas in July because when Christmas comes around December, it's all got to be commercialized.
Yeah.
That was a
It's
great movie.
true. It's true. I had my mother, who is unfortunately deceased, but my mother loved Christmas, and she collected Christmas tree ornaments, and people that knew her would bring her Christmas tree ornaments, and she had she had enough to decorate 5 or 6 huge Christmas trees, and she loved Christmas quite a bit. She didn't celebrate it all year. It went up in December and it came down at Epiphany in January, the first week in January. But we did not celebrate Christmas all year long.
I like having the Christmas lights on, at least until like April, because
Mm-hmm.
from January to February, it's cold, it's dark. It's nice to at least have something to stare at.
Oh yes, uh-huh. I do know other people that other men who portray Santa, and I do know several people that tend to that they really are Santa 24, you know, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. They live the role of Santa Claus. They only wear red. They have long white hair and long beard. Usually they'll have a red car or a truck, and they really do. They live Christmas all year long. I'm not that way. I like doing my other acting jobs along the way. So I might have Christmas on the inside, but in the summer I look like everyone else.
Well, for people who want to know, how long does it take you to get that full Santa beard? You have the
um,
hair down already.
oh yeah, my hair is fairly short right now. The average, I would say, my hair grows and my beard grows. I would say I probably get about a fourth of an inch a month. So, and the last time before I shaved, I'd had my beard for a couple of years, and it was really quite long. In fact, this last year was the longest I've ever. I mean, the period that I've grown my beard, it was the longest length that it had ever been, and it's really odd. Once it gets to a certain length, it stops growing, but then you start to shed individual
Yes.
hairs. So it was like we had a long cat. I see your cat lying on your bed there. It was like we had a long-haired cat in
Yeah.
our house, but it was long white hair, and unfortunately it was me, and that was kind of a strange thing that I didn't know about having a real long beard length. The other thing is it tends to get caught in things.
Yeah.
Uh, and you have to be very careful what you're eating. Like there are no ice cream cones or barbecued ribs or anything that's really messy like that. You have to eat everything with a spoon and a fork and a knife, and try to avoid staining the white hair in your beard. Um, and it's just funny. It tends to fly around. It gets caught in stuff. And when you're around other Santas, it's a funny conversation when you're around a bunch of old men that it devolves into hair care products. Because everybody has their own hair care product, and like, oh, you've got to use this product, you've got to use this conditioner, and this beard wax, and this beard oil, and use this kind of a comb, and I curl my mustache this way, and someone else will curl it this way. And I even knew one man who used a very tiny curling iron on his beard and had lots of curls. So, but it's always funny to hear grown old men talk about hair care. It's an odd thing. part of the industry, I suppose.
Okay. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come
Okay.
back, I'm going to ask you two hard-hitting questions, and I'm going to pass the show over to you.
This is Vanessa Lina. Asian Lalo.
Michael.
This is Cynthia Bastinet.
I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie.
My name is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Nicole Brown.
It's Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke.
Hi, I'm Bryn Berg.
Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Briza.
I'm Cindy Hogan.
I'm Courtney Sinello.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Dinah Maasea.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Crona. Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Petrell. My name is
Julie.
My name is Julia Brankovic.
Kathleen Wills.
Kimberly Amato.
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia.
I'm Rachel Olivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount.
Hi, I'm Susan Brender.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Dana.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show. It was super fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am your host, Keith Andrew, along here with George McTyre. It's the last 14 minutes left of the show. I'm going to ask you two hard-hitting subjects. With that being said, I'm going to pass the show over right to you. The first one is how do you feel about the retail market? Stores going out of business, and all they keep saying, unemployment's down. It's because people stop looking. They say the economy's great, but gas prices are going for the freaking roof.
Yes.
And, stores are closing left and right. But with that being said, do you think the online market is killing the retail market?
Well, if you look at, since I tend to deal with toys a lot for the holiday season, the fact that Toys R Us went out of business is a huge thing for parents with small children. And I know, I haven't actually heard anyone else say this, but I know one of the reasons that Toys R Us went out of business was the ease that you can sit and shop online and have those toys delivered to you through the U.S. mail and through one of our parcel carriers. So, yeah, it is a little bit concerning. I myself try to shop locally.
Right.
I try to shop an individually owned store, local artisans, local crafts, and sometimes, though, you do have to run to Target or Walmart or one of the big box stores, Costco. Costco is a great place. I do have a Costco card. But most of the time, as a Santa, I do try to do my own personal shopping at a local level. I think that's really, really important that you support the economy locally. And it's an easy thing to do. You just go, you find your local shops and the local shop owners. And the good thing is you develop a rapport with these people. You develop a relationship with the local shop owners. And in doing that, I picked up a bit of work from several businesses that will hire me to come in during the Christmas season and be Santa. But the online presence, it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going away. It is incredibly easy to shop online. I do shop online for certain items that I can't find locally. But no, it is a problem. You don't want all the local businesses to go out of business. That would be quite unfortunate.
People have to work.
Yes, people have to work. And that's why I would much rather spend my money at a small locally owned hardware store or a garden store instead of one of the big chain stores. So I do consciously try to shop locally.
No, I agree. And, people keep saying, it's Target and it's Walmart. I used to work for Toys R Us, so I was really upset when I lost my job. They're like, it's Target, it's Walmart, it's Amazon's putting out of business. I'm like, no. They're just names.
Yeah.
You're putting me out of business. Oh, how are we putting you out of business? Because you're the ones freaking shopping online. It's the people who are putting other people out of the business. The other things are just immovable objects. They're just there. But if you cut off, if you cut off a head of a snake, that's what it is. If you cut it off at a certain point, it's still got to be there, but it isn't going to be so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I agree with you 100%. I agree so much with this. One thing personally with Toys R Us going out of business, as an actor, I would always try to prepare my character of Santa Claus. So I would always study the Toys R Us catalogs, and see what the popular toys are. Because believe me, children will test you when you're Santa Claus, and they will ask you questions. And luckily, I tend to do my homework, so I can talk toys with 3 and 4 and 5 years old. And I was talking to a young girl who was maybe about 5. They had come to get photos with Santa, and I noticed she had on a My Little Pony T-shirt. And I was like, "Oh, you like My Little Pony? I see your shirt." I said, "Who's your favorite?" And I proceeded to name the 5 principal My Little Ponies, and the mother was so impressed. She's like, "Oh my goodness, you know their names." I'm like, "I'm Santa." So that got me some street credit with that family. I think that I could actually name the toys by name, by character name. But it will be hard this year because I don't have that Toys R Us catalog to kind of scope out and look through. So I'll have to do some online searching for what the popular toy will be this year.
Well, I know you're in Connecticut, but there's toy stores in Rockland County. I think there might be something in New Jersey. I have to look. But unfortunately, it's Target, Walmart, and hopefully something else comes along.
Oh yeah.
Right now I work in Woodbury Commons, and the only toy store there is Disney. So Disney's doing a lot of business.
Oh yeah.
So then go ahead. I think they're going to be like a big one on Android.
Being at Radio City Music Hall this year, we're right across the street. This last year I was there. The American Doll store there. And believe me, people are going in and buying American Girl dolls. American Girl, that's what they're called. And no, it's nice to see people actually going into a store and buying something the old-fashioned way. So, that will never go out of style in New York.
Right.
But smaller towns across New England and the upper Northeast, it can be a little problematic to find things. And then you're forced to go online and find it with some of the online suppliers. So.
No, I agree. And I still remember some of the brands we had at Toys R Us. We had American Doll, what you were just saying. We had their competition, Journey Girl. Even though they had more stuff than American Doll. About the same price, but, but Journey Girl had more. We had VTech toys. We had Fisher Price, Little Tykes.
Yep.
Let's see.
Now, what was your favorite toy that you got from Santa? Do you remember a Christmas where you got something that you had asked for and how important that was? What was your really most loved toy when you were growing up?
What I asked for and got are two different things.
Oh. Did you get socks?
No.
That's always the worst present, is when you ask for something and you get lots of socks at Christmas. That's how you tell you're old, because when you're old, you want socks because your feet always get cold.
What? I had a picture when I was on Santa's lap, and it's like, "Oh, well, hi, little boy." It's like, "What do you want?" And I said, "A typewriter."
A typewriter.
And my mom asked you, and it's like, "Well, what do you want?" And I didn't see it, but my mom told me afterwards. He wanted a typewriter. He's 4. He wants a type. So I like writing. I like the sounds of the typewriter. That's why when I'm on my keyboard, I'm very picky on what keyboard I use. I went out to Staples and I saw this. I can hold it up. I don't know if it shows. I can show you afterwards. It's pretty much, it's the keyboard. It's called a Ultimate Black Razor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it. That's the beeping. But I hear like the snapback. You know, when you see when you're in the doctor's office and you're like, you hear, oh, you need something? And you're like, you're typing. That keyboard has the snapback feature.
I like that. I have seen a keyboard that has round keys like a very old typewriter. It's got that snapback feature too. The keyboard also lights up with LEDs underneath, so you can have lights underneath your keys. But they're those nice round keys like on an old-fashioned typewriter. So that would be interesting to type with that.
Actually, I do have that. I wanted the rainbow one, but I thought the colors were obnoxious after a while. Yeah. So I got the old green one. So I got used to it. Now when I look down, like the keys were all in green, and they can make like different waves. I send you the link if you'd like to get one.
Oh, sure. Like I said, I'm a Mac person, so I tend to stick with the Apple things instead. So, but it would probably work on my system too.
Well, I have a 27-inch screen of an Apple. I can't stand Windows. I have to use an Apple.
I've done some video editing with two screens set up. A friend who does their own video editing, and it's really nice to have a huge screen like that. But it's doubly nice when you have two, and you can have two different apps or programs open at the same time, and you don't have to change the windows out. I see another big cat behind you on the other side. Now, who is this?
Oh, that's Ms. Jillian.
She is a large cat.
She is. She's small and fat, but she gets around.
She's fluffy.
Well, what's the Gabriel Gracious? There's 4 stages of fat. There's big, husky. Let's see, big, fat, husky, and damn.
We have friends that own Maine Coon cats, which are the biggest house cats I have ever seen in my entire life. They're huge and not fat. They're just giant cats. It's like having like a wild animal in the house. They're so big.
Actually, it's funny you should mention that. There is a cat that I want. I think it's the one that you mentioned, but the one I saw was 4 feet, and it's like 120 pounds. It's the world's biggest cat.
Whoa. Ew, how big does the litter box have to be with a cat that size? Pretty big.
Pretty much.
Now, I want to say a little bit. I'm very interested in your show because you talk about disabilities, about special needs. In the Santa community, there's a real push in educating the Santas, but also the public, on how to work with children who might be have sensory issues, that are extra sensitive to noises and crowds and a lot of excess external stimuli. And I've been really glad to take a few of these classes where you learn how to, pull back and be extra careful, that you're not making a child, react to too much noise or too much stimulus. I did see that happen. I was not the Santa, but I did see a child that was nervous around lots of noise. And usually, at Christmas, you've got music playing and there are bells going and people are bouncing around. And this child was quite upset at all the movement going on. But the Santa was amazing and kind of talked her down and calmed her down. And she she actually, I think, eventually had a very good time, but it was a little tricky at first. So I'm glad you're pointing out this to lots of people. I think it's very important to be inclusive and include everybody. Or I guess I should say non-inclusive. So we include everybody in all of our activities. So it's a good thing that you're doing. It's good education for the public.
No, I appreciate it. Now, I do have a couple questions for you off the air.
Okay.
But the first two questions I want to ask you is, one, are you on LinkedIn, Stage 32, Twitter, Instagram? Are you on any?
Yeah, I'm on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram. I have to pull up my phone and see what. Facebook. Oh wait, here I'm locked up. Hold on, just a second. I don't know why let's see. Yeah, I've got Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. I'm trying to integrate these more into my Santa work and also my other just ordinary acting work. And the problem with a lot of social media is you'll see things that you want to post, and it's like, well, I don't like posting anything political.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think my views are my own, and that's not why I'm on social media. It's to promote myself as an actor, as an artist, and as a Santa. So I try to keep things, on the calm side and stick to the purpose that I'm using them for. I would like to find a program that you can post once and it'll post to everything instead of having to post like 4 times to different things. But
I know there is something like that. I just have to find it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that they don't work incredibly well, but that will change in the future. They'll get a lot better too. So, but that has actually amazed me in the past 5 years as I've gotten more into the acting field, is how much the acting world, and by that I mean commercials and TV and film and stage work, they are very Facebook centric. And that's where most of us go to find out about auditions. I know that the last couple of shows that I've done, they will actually form a Facebook group for the cast of that show, and that's where you get announcements and notes about the performances and things like that. So the acting community at large is very, very online, and they're very savvy about all the social media. I'm not quite as savvy. I'm not that good with technology. For 18 years, I sat at a piano, for 9 hours a day and taught voice lessons, and that doesn't leave you a lot of time to pick up new technology. But I'm slowly getting there. And I also have the elves to help me too. They do most of my technology. In fact, that's what I say here in Connecticut over the holidays. It's like, I bet you didn't know Santa is in Connecticut, and it's because I bought all the elves iPhone 10s and new iPads, and we have a lot of spare time on it. I do have one more really cute story about last season. I was splitting my time between Connecticut and New York City, and I had finished my day at Radio City Music Hall, and I was actually coming back the next morning to Connecticut to do some train appearances in Essex. And so I was on Metro North from Grand Central, and I get in, and I have my beard, my hair was long and white, but I was in a black turtleneck, a black jacket, and a black hat, and I sat down in my seat on the train, and this little face pops up from the seat in front of me. It's a little girl about 6 years old, and I was like, "Well, hello." Yeah, and she stared at me, and she said, "Aren't you Santa Claus?" I was like, I said, "You caught me, but it's a secret. No one should know that Santa rides Metro North." I said, "How did you know I was Santa Claus?" She turned around, got her little backpack, and pulled out the 8x10 photo of herself and me at Radio City. They had obviously just been to see the show, and they'd had their photos taken with Santa. And she had it right there. And she caught me, and I was kind of amazed because, you know, when you've got the beard and the red hat and the red suit on, what do most people see? They see about this much of your face, you know, and your hair and your beard.
Right. But
this little girl, she caught me. She knew exactly where I was. I mean, who I was there. So that's one of those special things when you play Santa. You start getting the look from children. Starting in October, they'll kind of give you a sideways look, like, you look kind of like him. And then in November, they'll pull on, you know, mom or dad's sleeve or pants and go, Mom, Dad, look. But then in December, they're like, even if you're not dressed as Santa, they'll be like, oh my God, it's Santa. So you really have to watch yourself that you're not in a bad mood, that you're happy and jolly, and you're treating everybody else really nicely, because you don't want to be the evil, mean Santa who's throwing a fit in traffic. So you do have to be really good all year long when you're dressed as Santa.
So you don't want to be like from Bad Santa?
Well, I actually have a story on myself. Okay, so I was doing a radio interview, and it was like at 7 o'clock in the morning, FM radio. So I get up really early, and it was a little bit of a drive. It was about a half an hour drive. And it was one of the local Connecticut radio stations, FM. And so I get to their building like at 6 o'clock in the morning for the 7 o'clock interview. And like, there are 3 cars in the parking lot, but most of the doors are locked to the building. I finally get in. I go to the lobby of not just the radio station that I'm talking to, but it seems like they own 5 other radio stations there. So I have to stand out in the hall and wait, and I haven't had any coffee or breakfast. So I was not in the best mood by about 6:45. And this man comes walking down the hall, and he's like, "Hey, Santa, how you doing?" I'm like, I could be better. You know, just because I was kind of grumpy because it was such a rush to get there, and then I was just having to stand. I was afraid I was going to be late. So finally my contact person comes, and they unlock the doors. We go in. They have, over the loudspeakers, another radio station playing. And I hear this voice going, "Well, I just ran into the grumpiest Santa in the world." And it's like, oh no, it was that guy. He was one of the DJs. And it's like, and so they were riffing about me. Like he and the other DJs on this other channel was like, "Yeah, the grumpy Santa, blah, 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 blah." And they just kept going. And it's like, well, that's a lesson for me, is no matter where you are, what you're doing, when you're dressed as Santa Claus, you have to be in a good mood, and you have to be nice to everybody. Important lesson learned right there. So.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up your talk show, I do have a couple questions for you off the air.
Okay.
But wrapping up, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction, and what made you say yes?
Well, I was really interested. I saw your post on Facebook for people that might want to do it, and when I did my homework and I looked you up, and I liked that you were doing this to make people aware of certain issues, and that no matter what you do, you can be a success at it. And I love that message, and so that's why I wanted to talk to you today, because I think it's a great thing you're doing. Keep it up. We need more people like you in the world to make us aware that everyone deserves respect. Everyone deserves a seat at the table. It just might take some people a little different route to the table. Not everyone comes directly. Some people take a more circular approach. But everyone deserves respect, and everyone deserves a seat at the table. And I think what you're doing is just wonderful.
No, I appreciate it. Now, stay tuned for Off the Air. I do have a couple questions.
Okay.
About wrapping up our interview segment. It was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.